Welcome. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. I feel like I'd be leaving out that XM because, you know, me as a real host, and she be doing it right. So I'd be having to throw it in there. So you're definitely excited to be hanging out today, talking, chilling, you know what I'm saying? We normally are like matching, but today we're like opposites attract
opposites,
type.
Yeah.
So
Ace said he was trying to get his white in.
You know what I'm saying?
I think honestly you can wear white after Labor Day. He said you shouldn't.
It's not that you can't. I just feel like
you wouldn't advise it.
I think rules apply. I think men and women have different rules when it comes to like fashion takes.
Really?
I feel like
who wrote the book on fashion?
Nobody want to see your uncle in October first weekend of October with the all white cream suit.
Uncle Ace.
I think there's like color palettes and weather are a thing. So I just feel like you just be mindful. You know what I'm saying? No.
Okay. Because I guess because when in certain states or even countries, snow is in effect. You know, snow is a factor. You're wearing all white. You
looking like an abominable snowman.
You're looking like a Yeti outside. So I guess factoring for also like where you live. Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
That's amazing.
Man, summer's almost over, bro.
Summer is almost over, and I think it kind of is a great segue into how we're feeling and how some of the fans are feeling.
Man. It's funny. I saw, I was looking through the Reach Records Instagram account. I think, you guys posted something. I'm trying to remember what it was, but all I saw in the comments was, man, I guess we're not getting the playlist this year. Oh, where's the playlist? Oh, where's the playlist? The summer playlist is definitely a staple because when I tell you, that's what a majority of the comments were seeing.
For sure.
That's what everyone was saying. Have you been seeing those?
Yeah,
I've been feeling that way?
We've been seeing it, hearing it. People ask me directly. I guess I go ahead and say it now if it hasn't already been, promoted. Man, we're not doing it. Obviously, we didn't do a summer 24 playlist this year, and people are asking why. Let's just say we wanted to give it a rest this year, and let the fans experience and enjoy all the playlists that we put together. We just kind of got really busy with releases of our own artists, and just felt like it was a time to take a break. Yeah, I feel like some things do better when you miss it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
versus like having to always think it's coming, and so. With that said, we may even reimagine like the format for different seasons. So just still working on some stuff. So it's not dead. It's just we're taking a little break.
How did you feel when it came to the conclusion of not doing a playlist?
Is this can I be honest?
Yeah, be honest.
I feel like I was a little bit relieved. Because I felt like with anything when you're doing like. I can't imagine what people who like plan committees and annual activations feel. It's like every year. So you have to always reinvent yourself to keep it fresh. Like whether that's like Grammys, Double Awards, conferences, anything that's annual, you have to like, so it's definitely a lot of like thought. And I think sometimes for us, I think coming back fresh with a little bit of time to kind of see how we can keep it going and keep it really good. That was something we talked about. So.
I think that's good only because you want art that is thoughtful, even music in a sense as well.
For sure.
So even though I know people may feel, bummed that it may not be this year, but imagine because there's been so much intention and care put into it.
Right.
To me, that makes me excited of things maybe even being reimagined in the future. So I think it's a great thing, but even also you had the idea for this episode, we just reminisce on past playlists. But I want to ask you this first, Ace, because I was driving here and we got the message of Ace saying that we should do the playlist of the summer playlist in the past. And so I started rejogging my memory and things like that. I was like, oh man, this song was great. Oh, this was a moment. Oh, this. And y'all have really consistently created the soundtrack for our summer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really curious to even know how the playlist idea maybe even came about. Was that a you idea? Was that it just kind of happened? Can you even speak into that a little bit?
Great question, Mia. So this is 2018. I was only at Reach for like a year, and we were like. There's always been like this is more like a label thing more than the CHH culture like broadly, but we were struggling to get a lot of music out, and we were like trying to figure out because everybody kind of wanted to drop during in the same time. Like summer was coming, everybody wanted to trying to lock in dates.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I had this idea, it just came to me. I was like, what if we drop all the releases for the summer on the same day? Everybody dropped their single, right? And Reach Records promote it on a playlist. And the artists don't have to feel the pressure of promoting like a project. They can just promote their individual songs. So it's a win for the artists and songs being dropped on one day. Like a rising tide like lifts all ships. Just having everything in one boat, I think, energizes the audiences and helps the artists in the long run, because now it's like, yo, my song's next to this song and this song. And sometimes for artists, you don't want to put that pressure on them, like, yo, I'm promoting this thing that the label is doing. So it was like, it was a cool way to like put everybody, give everybody a chance to drop on the same day, put it in a playlist format, so that way you can like go and find that playlist, but individually the song is still a single out on the same day. So that was the mindset.
So even as an A&R, as a producer, like, what's your mindset kind of when you know it's like, okay, summer playlist season is coming around, we should be moving towards that, creating towards it. Like, what headspace do you get in? You know what I'm saying, when it comes to creating the playlist?
Nah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely, I would say specifically 2018 was, man, it was just, we didn't really know what we was doing.
Let's dive into summer 18 first. So let's go there first.
So yeah, we were just, I had this idea, I kicked it around the label, and everybody was like, yo, it's a dope idea. The artists were bought in. And so I just started like seeing what everybody had. And it was really as simple as, let's find songs that are like fun, uplifting, dope, like summer bops, put them on a playlist, and we would just market that playlist. And so we did that. And I mean, God's timing is great. So I mean, we had hits on that joint. We had Coming in Hot. We had Gavi's Fight for Me.
Long Live the Champion.
The K Beats, man. This is like taking me back. So it was like we put those joints together. I remember me and Ben and What Up RG sat in Studio B. Shout out What Up RG. Shout out Ben Washer too. Like, and we had the songs, and we were like, man, we need to like let RG curate the track list. Because at the time, you know, it was like he had only been signed for like 5 months.
Oh wow!
But we wanted to like empower the newer roster to like give us to put their artistic stamp on something that was dope. So that came out, went crazy. It was like I remember on socials, it was like a moment. It was like a moment.
It was.
And we didn't even know if this would be an annual thing. I guess we thought, okay, so that went off, and then you know, the vision for it to open up in 2019 was like it just evolved. I think that was the crazy idea.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was just like, yo, why don't we just like energize the space and not limit it to just our roster of artists. So that's how it came about. And once we did summer 2019, we was like, I think we have a product. We have an actual thing now.
How different was, because summer 18 was a little shorter. Like you said, y'all weren't really sure. And then summer 19 was kind of like the fullness of it. Was there any differences behind the scenes creating that and curating that playlist? Yeah, so summer 19, it was very intentional. I remember we reached out to some people in the space. I gotta pull up some of the songs, because I'm kind of trying to see which ones were on there. We done did so many playlists, y'all. It's many. I was looking really back,
hard.
I was like, man, it's this many playlists.
So we I remember, man, it was such a moment. Like, we really just rallied. We reached out. I mean, was there anything that you thought was like stand out? Because there's so many.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Which ones you
Summer
like?
19 was very legendary to me.
Tell me about it.
I drove around to Summer 19 for the longest.
That's crazy.
I love, even with the playlist, it gets me excited because I'm looking forward to being introduced to an artist I haven't heard.
Gotcha.
So Summer 19 is where I got introduced to Hovey, of course, and then Tori Deshawn, and that was also. Anike just got signed at that time. So that was when So In Love was going crazy. And then Bands was also another great bop. So I really feel, even as a woman, I felt seen and represented in even the playlist with songs like In Love and Bands. Man, there's so many other songs as well.
There was a lot of, so like, and one thing we thought about when we made 2018 was like, we were very intentional with collaborations. And for example, Tadashi had a song with Canon on We Came to Play. And I was intentional about, let's put this song on here, because I wanted, it was a seed that planted that actually started to like take root later, which was, I want other artists that are represented in the space, other labels, I think RMG, just have them represented on this playlist, just to show unity, to show diversity. So I didn't know then in 2018, when 2019 came, that vision would be expanded to like include, we had Paris Chariz, No Big Deal.
Oh my gosh.
Stephen Malcolm. Joey Vantes, John Keefe, Byron Juwan.
Cass being on Control, that was one of my favorites.
It was like a lot of like community. And I remember Joseph Parlazzi, who used to be the A&R here at Reach during the I would say like the real 116 days. And he obviously was over on 4 Against 5 label. He hit me when Summer 19 dropped, like, yo, this is amazing. I'm so dope with what y'all doing. It let me know like, wow, this is bigger than let's just promote our own artists. Let's make money just for us. It was more like, yo, let's create a platform and a space to amplify the broader CHH community and give artists a moment to be discovered through our platform, through our and I think that's when it clicked like, yo, this is a thing. Yes. Let's keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
There are so many legendary songs on Summer 19. Like
talk to me.
I want to ask you about a song that's one of my favorites that you produced times 10.
Which
is so I love collaboration when it comes to CHH in general, but when it comes to a song like Times 10 where it's like a back and forth, shout out to AHA and Few, talk about how that one came together. It's something about that one that's so special to me.
Yeah, that record is really, it just feels that's like a staple summer playlist record. It's fun, it's collaborative, it's high energy, and it did really well. I think that record came about, I had reached out to AHA, after he like departed from the label, but it was all love, and I was like, man, I want to do something with you, bro, and he was down. And so I think AHA is one of the greatest rappers in this space.
Yes, I agree.
Like hands down, the boy's a genius. And I always wanted to like produce or kind of like A&R something for him. So he like opened up, was like, yo, what's up? What you got? So I sent him some beats from Carvello.
Young fellow
Carvello.
Love Carvello, yes.
He cut to that joint. And then we wanted to add Few to it. We added Few. Then we did this beat switch. I sent Carvello some of the music for the loop, and actually did an A&R Corner video on it on my YouTube channel, so go check it out.
I love your A&R Corner videos.
But it was just a fun, and then the video was just crazy. I think were they on bikes or something?
What do you mean?
I think they were on bikes in the video.
Yes, like a tandem. Like I was like, how do y'all get? Oh my gosh!
Yo, imagine like six AHA on a bike, which is. And then like 5, 6 Few, just pedaling away.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all. We didn't mean to do y'all like that. But it was great. I mean, I think that's a great call out. Which other one did you feel like were really special? Like that stood out to you?
It was something about motions. When I heard it, it sounded different, and I was kind of like, oh, I think I'm not gonna like it. But when I heard it, I was like, it's something about this song that sounds so special. And I said this all the time to my sister when I would play it. I'm like, it's something about this song. And even this artist, that's when I was like, who is this Hovey kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was something about motions that really stood out to me and really was a standout in the project as well. I will even say HD as well. Shout out to Tori
Deshawn.
Yeah, Tori doing that song.
Thing.
And those were two that I liked, but that kind of took me back. I was like, kind of, whoa,
wow,
like, what is this? This is really special.
Good. Yeah.
Were there any other moments creating it behind the scenes that stood out to you? Any memories?
So shout out Ben Washer. Like you called out something really cool. Ben Washer, who stays behind the shadows, the CEO of Reach Records. His taste and like picking songs and track listing, his artistic touch is really good. So, Motions. Obviously, we were like building with Hovey, and which we do with a lot of artists that we're interested in, and we were trying to figure out like what songs to put on the playlist to kind of see how people react. Like he wasn't signed to us; it was kind of let's see what the people think type of vibe. And he had this other song, Ready or Not, that was gonna be on the playlist.
That was dropped later, right?
It dropped later.
Yeah.
Ben Washer was like, nah, that's not the one, and he made a comment. He was like, if we're gonna especially for any artist, similar to Tori Deshawn and HD, let's also we can give people bops, yes, but also give songs that have like a real story, real artistic narrative to it.
Yes.
So people can see the artist for who they really are and not get lost in the let's make a CHH bop, like, you know what I'm saying, territory. So that was his wisdom, and we did Motions and it did really well. And then also Ben was the one that picked Anike's In Love to be the first track.
Really?
It was the first time, like highlighting a woman. She had just been signed, putting her on the forefront, right? And man, my wife is probably like responsible for 95% of the streams on that song. She plays like every day. Like that's one of her favorite Anike songs. So and it was just a vibe. It was just fun, energy, but no big deal. And Tori Deshawn, Glory, What Up RG, Tadashi, Stephen Malcolm, Paris Careers,
shining on Big Wave.
Big Wave, yeah,
that was a great one. I was like, man, I love that Paris had the opportunity to shine on that record. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what it was. I forgot who I was talking to, but I was like, it's something about Summer 19 where all of the playlists had their own moment, but it was something about that one that just felt so.
I think the branding was really good too. Like
it was,
like it had like a thing to it. It just felt cohesive. Not that the others didn't, but it just felt like the summer playlist had a defined brand,
and I feel like it was established.
It was established
because, like you said, for 2018, we were kind of okay. Like, let's see what this is make of it. What we will make of this, and then now it's like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what it looks like, and then now we're going to keep this thing going. Yeah. So I feel like summer 19 really set the tone for what the next upcoming playlist for, and we're going to dive more into that here on the 116 Live, here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Mia Evans, right here. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Mia Evans checking in, doing a reminiscing on the summer playlist that Reach has dropped over the years. Okay, so now we're getting into summer 20. And I'm excited about talking to Ace about this because summer 20 for me is one of like top two. Like after summer 19, honestly, summer 19 and summer 20 are kind of neck and neck.
Okay.
For me. But hearing you said it wasn't one of your...
Hold on. Before we get into me, tell me why Summer 20 is one of your top two.
Okay, easy. Summer 20...
She's ready, y'all.
I love Summer 20 because I love when songs make you feel something. Like it feels like... This playlist feels like summer. It feels like a cookout. It feels like you're out with your friends. It feels like you're at a party. It feels like you're at your auntie in them house, kicking with your cousins, kicking it with your... Like it's something about it felt like unity. It just felt fun. It felt like togetherness. I can't describe it to you. It's like when I love the cover art for everything being a cookout and everything, because it felt like this was cookout music. You could play this outside. You could play this with your roof down. You could play this while you're putting food on the grill. It felt like that. And there are so many songs on there that just speak to that. They feel good. They bring your energy up. You want to dance. It's something about Summer 20 that just, it embodies summertime to me.
Okay, so you was rocking. Okay.
All right. Now for you.
So this is probably not a popular take, but Summer 20, and as someone who worked on a lot of songs, this is probably one of my least favorite. And so maybe I'm such a tough critic of myself. So first of all, the cover idea, phenomenal. Like everybody.
I loved it.
However, how I put this without being critical, I just feel like the cover arts per the singles.
Oh, okay.
I struggle with them, and it's always difficult when you're making a literal caricature of somebody, and you're trying to. I felt like some of the caricatures just look.
They weren't. You weren't feeling them.
I mean, I'm not gonna get into that. We're gonna keep it positive, but I was kind of like, they ain't it. So, and the music was good. I mean, it was some. We had some bops on here. Stick, Let Me Know, Marky Basic, Rocket, Celebrate More.
Raise the Meter
was on here.
Ace, this playlist was so good.
Woo was a vibe. I think what it was for me, I'm pitting it up to like what I feel like ages really well.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of the songs were really good, and they felt like summer, and they jammed and they cut through. If I'm pitting, these songs up to the whole catalog, something has to be like on the bottom half of it. Okay. So that's what it is. So it wasn't bad, but I just felt like some of the songs, I mean, they were all really good, but I wonder if some of them just could have aged better. I put that on myself a little bit. I'm a tough critic, but people loved it. I remember we shot them videos. It was like it all had a theme. It was very cohesive. The branding, the artwork. Man, there's some joints on here.
I want to talk about a song you were a part of, which was "Come My Way."
Okay, yeah.
How did that one come about?
That was I mean, Anike had always wanted to do something like in the Afro-beat space. I'm not sure if that was her first Afro-beat record, but it was one of the ones that it may have been. I don't want to take credit for it. And so I had this hook idea from this artist Toye. Shout out Toye, the Nigerian legend. And we had this hook, and we actually made that hook for Lecrae because he was trying to do some Afro beats. So it was just kind of laying around, and I was just playing it one day. I think Anike heard it and was like, "Yo, this is fire. Let's do something with it." So we made the record, got her verse, and then we had this idea to get like a like legit Afro beats artist on it. A girl named Tinny, who's like fire, well known in the Nigerian spaces, and we got her on it. Came out great. The verses were fire, and it just really like showcased Anike's versatility. You know what I'm saying? She can sing, she can rap, she can do Afrobeat, she can do everything really. So it was dope, man. But I just feel like you know what I will say though? Speaking of Afrobeats, this record actually introduced Limo Blaze to our audience.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't say to our audience because some people already knew about him. In fact, people have been tagging me about Limo. That's kind of how I found him. Everybody, there was like people were just like, yo, you gotta check this guy out. And I went to his page, heard his music, and I was tapping in with him on DM. This is like 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so we just was building a rapport.
Yeah.
And then Anike was sending his stuff to me. So by the time she's sending to me, I was already kind of tapped in. And and that's how I found him, and we started making some joints. And I was like, yo, as always, as the fans probably have caught wind, when there are artists that we're interested in and think we could do something with, the summer playlist is a good way to kind of introduce them, and also for us to see how we can work together with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah, so it was great.
I even like this playlist. Another reason why I like it is because the Afro-beat sound was really brought into the mix. I love songs like Come My Way. Little Longer was a great one for me as well. How was it even be able to bring that aspect into the playlist?
It was fire. I mean, I felt like it felt good. That's a great question to me. It felt good to sometimes in Christian culture, we're not always, a lot of times we were like late to what's happening in broader culture. So like people are literally right now doing like Afro-beats remixes of CCM songs. Which is not I appreciate the exposure. I think that helps. But I think one thing that's unique about Reach Records is we try to be on the forefront of where culture is. And I felt like if Afrobeat is happening, it was already kind of sizzling in 2017, 2018 with like Davido and other artists. So we felt like we was late. But it was a dope way to introduce that genre, and now Afro gospel is like a whole thing.
Yes.
So it feels good to kind of be a part of that. One of my favorite records on here on this playlist. It's actually something that may not have been one of the most popular ones, but it was Summer House by Melville. It's like the UK drill. He snapped. That record.
How did you discover him? Like, how did you find him?
I think I actually found him on a playlist back in like 2018.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, I'm always hovering on the internet, seeing what's out there. And I think somebody sent me some stuff from some other UK artists, and I found Melville, and I was like, yo, this drill thing, what's going on in the UK and the Christian hip hop space is phenomenal. It's interesting. I think Governor B also picked me on some artists.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was a highlight that I really looked like. Again, what's going on in culture as Christians? How are we being at the forefront of that and engaging it, right? And not like waiting for it to be popular or cool to touch it. Like, oh, this is weird, this is new. Or what are we doing? What's the Christian perspective on this emerging genre? So, Summer 20 was cool. Shout out everybody that worked on it. And for y'all, I feel away because I said it wasn't my favorite. I'm sorry, y'all, but I just say, man.
Okay, so now I want to dive into Summer 21.
21, okay.
So was that a favorite for you? Now Summer 21 was also great because there were a lot of great moments. Because don't worry about it.
Yo, I feel like Anike is like the highlight on these playlists.
Right.
She got some
really great staple songs.
Man, let's talk about this. Summer 21 may be my favorite.
Yeah, why?
I just feel like sonically, production, theme, camaraderie, it was just slapping. It was slapping. I think it was done really. I think the songs hit different. Not that the other songs didn't, but I think this one was like a level up. Like, yo,
okay.
These are really hard.
What are some standouts to you from Summer 21?
I got so many. I can talk all day. All right. Obviously, Don't Worry About It.
That was such a great kickoff.
And
if I could be honest, shout out to Anike and Portia. I was riding with Portia one time.
What's up, Clark?
And what's up, Clark?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up? 2K2?
I was riding with.
But we on some laid back vibes.
Yeah.
Shout out by the way, us 1K Few and producer Clark just walked through. So yeah, I feel like since Lecrae interrupted our segment,
right? We might as well.
We might as well just roll.
We can roll with anything at this point. Yeah. But I was riding with Portia and some friends of ours, and she was just saying how like excited she was for things coming up. I was like, okay, so what you got coming up? She was like, okay, you can't tell anybody. I was like, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
And she played Don't Worry About It for me. Ace, when I tell you, we were driving in the car, and I can't even tell you who was driving. And I apologize to whoever was driving, because when I tell you, I lost my mind. Just because it sounded, I'd never heard a song like this
for sure
in our space. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like representation. It felt like summer. It felt that was also a time when, like, City Girls was popping and things like that. And it was just like, it was something about it that just felt so like it was going to make a staple in CHH, period.
No, it was a hit.
And I could not, my energy went through the roof. I was like, this is going to seriously do something. Even shout out to Holy Smoke the first year where they performed it for the first time. And that was the first time I ever lost my voice because there was such a great,
I was there.
There was a legendary moment seeing them perform that, people hearing it, but not even just girls vibing to it, but guys vibing. Everybody was vibing.
Yeah,
so you don't worry
it was
about
like, and that's why I say this is one of my favorites because I think it gave certain artists staple songs in their catalog. Yeah. And that's one thing I really aspire. Like Reese Lachey's Down Too Long, staple in her catalog. I Am Rescue, Running Up, staple in his catalog. Tesla, Big Bree. Like,
yes.
Like these are like staple records. Indie Tribe was having a moment. We did the Team record. Staple record in their catalog.
70 Degrees.
70 Degrees.
Yes.
Was like, Miles, like, it was just a lot of like, yeah, like moments that I felt like, and you know what? I want to shout out Trip Lee. He was like essentially, this is the first touch point in a while. I mean, he had obviously done features and done the records here and there, but I feel like this record, You Got It, kind of birthed his new era that led to the end and the epilogue in terms of his new sound, him being a producer. And this record just fits so seamlessly into the playlist. TJ Carroll, Hovey had a joint. Man, there was so many joints.
Having Jadena on it.
Jadena was on there with Limo Blaze. Yeah, there was some joints on here. But then also the La Fiesta remix, which I think was obviously like, again, back to like embracing culture. Like we want to always intentionally make space for other culture, other voices. So having like the Latin representation there. And then we're not even done with like how much we want to invest in that space. I mean, stay tuned, y'all. Some real cool things on the way. But yeah, I just feel like and the artwork was clean. I feel like this one, okay. If Summer 21 is like to me the better, not the better, but it's similar to Summer 19 in terms of the kind of camaraderie, the kind of cohesiveness.
I can see that.
And Summer 21, I feel like is like the sequel to more than Summer 20 is.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I like. I mean, not that Summer 20 deserved to be skipped, but I'm just like, Summer. It just felt more like of a moment. I felt like so.
Were there any songs that you feel like maybe were slept on? People were like, "Oh, this one didn't get as much love, but this was a hit."
I felt like Mosh Pit was a slept on joint.
That's probably one of my favorite Enrique verses.
Oh, yeah.
And even shout out Not Clyde, shout out Jay
Clyde.
Newton.
Oh, Not Clyde.
Not Clyde is just something. When he gets on a track, it's just
you can't forget about him.
You can't forget about him.
Right, yeah.
That was a really good Mosh Pit was a really good one.
I think that was slept on. I think that was a really like special one. Obviously, Lights in the City. I mean, there's some joints on here. I will talk about this. Reach Record. This is interesting. Like I love participating in emerging artists' career early on, and to go on and see them like flourish. Like Paul Russell, who's like bigger than everybody on the whole label right now.
Yeah.
He was on like we've done a record with him on the Christmas Project
a couple records with him.
Yeah, we've done. So it's just like I remember hearing his stuff through Ruslan and being like, "Yo, this kid is phenomenal." And I know this is not part of the segment, but for the Christmas Project, when I heard his, we were trying to find a verse to compliment Lecrae's and. Bro, we were getting a couple options in that just weren't nailing it. Man, I hit him like on the last minute, bro. He sent his verse in like less than 12 hours. Bro. And I was like, did you just write this? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, this guy's, he's different. So Paul Russell, and then he did his verse for the Tadashi record, Never Give Up. So yeah, I think it's really cool to see like Breeze, Indie Tribe flourishing. Even George Rose.
Jude Barclay with High
School. Yeah. Reese Lachey. It's good to like give emerging artists a touch point and then see them like take off. I think that's beautiful.
I think another great thing is that so many different genres are even being represented as well, which I like. Like High School, that was another standout. High School Never Really Ends. Like that was that was a standout to me because it was like you have, of course, like hip hop is always a big staple, but then you even have songs like that and Every Day where it represents the Afro-beat sound and things like that. So it's so cohesive. That's why y'all are just I really admire producers, artists, and things like that, because here it is, y'all can have a one mission of trying to create a sound, but yet everything can be diverse, but yet it be so cohesive.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I think that's beautiful. When we come back, we're gonna dive into the other playlists and even talk about the future of what the other things that come out of reach. So don't go anywhere. It's the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Mia Evans checking in. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the 116 Live on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. And me and Mia were just laughing because I forgot to mention a funny story about a record. We're talking about how Summer 20 was records that, you know, that were hits
that played into the time,
right? But may not have aged the
well.
best. Yeah. But Stick was a bop. Yes. I know when that came out, we used to play that junk in my living room. But shout out Rockstar JT, who actually the one who had this idea of putting Duke Deuce on the record, which I was a little nervous about. Yeah. But I was like, I'm always like trying to bridge and like make spaces for people to, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of Duke Deuce, we got some bops coming in, but make space for people to like be a part of our movement and also hear our hearts. And man, Duke Deuce and his verse in Mia, it was let's just say we had to come to record it again because he was coming on that thing swinging like it wasn't like FCC regulated, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, Ace.
It would have had I was like, bro, what are you doing? So
what goes through your mind when you hear someone go completely left from
we basically gave him the concept like, yo, this song is Stick. It's about being empowered. It's about like whatever things are attacking you. This is like your weapon to fight back your attacks, whether that's spiritual. And that was kind of like a metaphor. It wasn't that deep, right? And he just went all the way left. So we had to kind of reel it in. And it was a fun song. And obviously some people still kind of have their opinion about it. But I felt like, my conscience was clean. I felt good about it. But yeah, and just a reminder for y'all that sometimes as we or you or any artist, you got to be mindful of like, as we collaborate with people outside of our space and what they want to like add to the record. So yeah, it was a learning lesson. But again, my perspective is probably different than some of the fans in that I'm not afraid to do a record with somebody who's not necessarily professing, or as long as we can redeem the content of the song, have it fit in our world, and also people can discover our artists or music from our space and find the Lord that way. So I'm always cool with that as long as it's done that way. So yeah, shout out Duke Deuce.
Hey, shout out Duke, man. Listen, so let's go ahead and dive into Summer 22. So what do you like about Summer 22?
Summer 22 I thought it was really good. I thought it was like, at this point, we were like, what, 5 years in? 5 years in. So it's like, you're trying to always reinvent yourself, make sure you're not just getting it done. And that was something we had to overcome as we was making the playlist. Like we thought it was amazing. But it was just like, man, how do we make this even better than the year before? Because I felt like Summer 21 the bar was really high in terms of like the records. I mean, don't worry about it. Every day, like we was like, man, how do we top this? So, we definitely. I think one record that stood out to me was shout out Miles Minnick. His Steppin'. Yeah, shout out Miles Minnick. I think that record was really a staple.
Very big staple.
Like talk about adding like staple records to an artist's catalog. I thought Steppin's like I feel like if I see. I obviously haven't seen Miles perform in a minute, but I'm pretty sure he got Steppin' in his set. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, I love when we can give artists a song that they can like run with and perform with, and it's like a catalog record. That's what I love to do. I don't want to give artists just an album cut. So if you want to do the playlist,
like let's do it.
Let's do it. Yes. That's my critical or expectation for myself and my team as we're doing these playlists. Let's give people a staple, like a bop, you know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So and what about you? What other records you feel like stood out?
Man, I was listening to this one on the way here. Shout out to Breeze and Scooty Vertmob with Wave Ski. That's a good one for me. It's just, I don't know, something about that's just so vibey. It's just, I don't know, something about when Scooty, Breeze, everybody from Vert links up. It's just, I don't know, it's just magic. I want to talk to you about one that was really good to me, which was One Way with Dill.
Oh,
Can you talk about that? Just even like just producing that, how that song came about?
Yeah, I feel like I should do an A&R corner on that song.
Oh, you haven't?
I don't think I have. I don't know why, but shout out Dill, who's one of my favorite artists in the space. He's the homie. So the Summer 22 playlist was essentially done. And I kind of was feeling in my heart like, I feel like we need like one more like splash, more like not premiere, but an artist that has a bigger draw to make the playlist feel. Because I'm thinking about not just the commercial performance, but I'm also thinking about like the fans. They want to hear some of their favorites on these records. Right. You know what I'm saying? So as we were turning in, I just kind of feeling like, man, I think we just need one more like splash type of moment. And I had actually hit Dill like 3 months before it came out, and he kind of didn't hit me back. Well, he said he was interested in Down. I sent him some ideas, and he kind of went ghost. So I didn't want to bother him. So he hit me back like right when we're mastering the playlist. Like, yo, bro, I was on a sabbatical. I love that idea you sent. I sent him like 3 ideas, and I always try to put ideas in a folder that are not just mine. So I put 2 other records, and he just happened to like the record that I had produced. And so, and Dill hits me back and it's like, yo, what's the due date? I'm like, bro, the due date was yesterday. So I called Biz. I'm like, yo, how fast can we get this record done? And he's like, yo, man, we got to turn it in ASAP. So I essentially, I hit Dill. He reworks his verse. We tweak the hook. I get his files. I had just bought a new house. So I'm like in the bottom basement of my new house without my speakers or nothing was set up. I'm in headphones. It's on my little kitchen table, and we're getting some of our downstairs renovated. It's like clunky, messy, and all over the place. And I remember being like, I literally have like this night evening to turn this in. It's like probably 2. Dill had turned his verse in final, I think at like 10 o'clock that night, and I had to turn the files in that morning for Biz to get started mixing to actually make the cut. Jeez. And I'm in like doing post-production in my headphones, like in my junky basement that's being renovated, until like probably 2 or 3 in the morning, just like going in. I was like, man, I felt like it reminded me of how I felt when I was like making beats when I was a kid. Like, man, I don't have all this fancy tools. This is like the grind. And I felt like that energy that you hear in that record was coming out of me feeling like, yo, it's the 4th quarter and you gotta like score. Yeah. There is no, you gotta hit these free throws. And so that's, it felt a lot of pressure. And I think this record was needed to happen, but I also kind of felt, I kind of have fun doing it. Like I embraced the pressure. It felt kind of fun.
I was gonna say, because you easily, I mean, shout out to Dill for killing it, because if you didn't like it, you could have been like, oh, okay, we're just gonna toss that. But because I'm guessing he turned it in, smashed it. You're like, okay, well, this has to. Yeah. Applying the pressure of it all. Like, so you speak into that, how you playing into the pressure of you being like, okay, this is worth it. Let me work with the oppositions I'm up against with time and things like that. Yeah, I mean, because just because you have a premier artist in a song, I feel like sometimes music industry people do this. Let's get the name, and that's gonna warrant the commercial performance or make the moments. Just because you have a feature that's from an artist that has a platform, don't mean the song's gonna be a favorite for the fans. This song still gotta be really good. Yeah. So like I've at times probably made some moves in my tenure here at Reach where like, oh, I got the name, got the feature, got the thing, but the song may not have done what I wanted to do. And I'm like, oh, you can't skip the steps of intentional quality control. Yeah. You can't skip you got to get in the mud and put your foot in that song and make it, give it the best chance for fans to be like, oh, this is good. Now, is it going to be the most amazing thing, the highest? That's not my job. My job is to make something that I felt was made with quality, was made with intentionality, and leave the files into the mixing session in a way where I'm like, I did my best. Yeah. What are some other things about the playlist that you like over the ones in the past?
I think this playlist was, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. This playlist, like 22, it was like it was some hood, like hard records on here. Bro. It was like hip hop, like it was Christian hip hop, but it was a lot of it was like hip hop. Yes. These dudes is Christian? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Look like
Peachtree.
Peachtree was like different, but it was like, bro, who this dude sliding on this like
Any Attack?
What's the record with Vert Mob and 1K Family? Lord of the Rings. Rock Out, Emmanuel the Prophet. This was like a lot of like new like real like
top down. You driving through the city. Yeah. You know, you may got your 24 spinning on. You know what I'm saying?
It was hard.
It felt like that. It felt like that.
This didn't have some of like the normal like CHH kind of brighter. I don't want to say youth group records that appeal and you. But shout out Hummer 350. Crazy. Shout out 350, man. He had sent me a bunch of records. We were trying to get him on it, and he went in the mud with me and really like I want to be in a player, and I really want him on there. He like went through the A&R process of like, nope, that's not it. Probably said like 5 records. Yeah. But when I heard this one,
what was it about this one that you like?
It had that energy, like it just had that like I could play this I could play this record at Rolling Loud confidently. Yeah. Like press play, let's go. Like if we gonna do it, we got to do it as Christians. We got to make sure there's a certain intensity and intentionality, energy in these records. So yeah, that's summer 22. I know we got to talk about summer 23.
Summer 23.
Oh, we're wrapping up. I feel like we probably made this segment super long.
I know.
All right, this is the last playlist forever. No, just kidding.
Gonna make people so mad.
The comment section gonna go up.
Yeah. Well, what was it about this one that you?
You already know. I ain't even gotta say it. Stay low.
Of course.
Come on,
of course.
Man. What a great record. And I know we've talked about that song a lot on this platform.
Yeah.
But how did you feel when you first heard that song?
Okay, so I liked Stay Low because, again, playing into representation.
Right.
Because you have so many different types of, from a woman's standpoint, you have so many different types of women.
Right.
You have songs like Don't Worry About It that are they like real cute, you know what I'm saying? Like, real girly songs like even like In Love, So Sweet, things like that. Then you got the girls who from the east side, from the hood, you know what I'm saying? They don't listen to those boppy things. They kind of want the hard stuff.
For sure.
And I feel like Stay Low just embodies that. It embodies a different type of woman, like that, where not all girls are so girly that, like, we like the hard stuff too, that we can rap too. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Reese, CC, Toya really killed that. Even shout out Alex, who played a big part even into making this song as well. Yeah. And if you just it just feels so like guttered. It just feels so like hard. And the fact that one of the hardest songs is driven by these three women is just top tier.
It was like, I feel like we've had 6 playlists, and like women have kicked off the playlist 3 out of 6, which is good, I think. And it's not even just because of women; the records were fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like it kicked it off. That was a staple, man. Texas Pete was a vibe.
That felt so Texas. That
Texas
felt
Pete was
so
a vibe.
That felt so Houston. I'm not gonna lie, the song had to grow on me.
Really?
I usually for me, sometimes I gotta listen to a song twice. When I first heard it, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Then I was listening to it again while my windows were down. It was a real hot day, and I was just like, "Oh, this kind of hits." I don't know what it was. It was something about it that really felt
Shout
super
out Dre
Texas.
Hunter, man. He wrote that hook. My A&R Dre. He's. I think that record was dope because it just embodied kind of like that classic 116 energy, but it felt like a modern spin on it. You know what I'm saying? And Summer 23 was just, we one thing we wanted to do on Summer 23, we wanted to keep it shorter because I have been feeling like sometimes the fans may disagree. I be feeling like, man, when you get to like 16 songs, like it's just too much.
Really?
Yeah. So that was
okay. But the quality was still great though.
We try. I mean, I feel like it's easier to control quality with less quantity though. Okay. I think that's the more quantity you have, the harder it is to keep the quality. Because it's like if you got 10 slots, you're gonna make sure every slot is like on 10. But if you're like, yo, we could do 20, it's just harder, right? So I just feel like that's why this one was shorter. I mean, there was some joints on here. I want to talk about De Camino.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So I know we've had the artists that were on that record. Shout out Alexander, Tommy Royale, Samuel Ash, the main producer. That record was just like, man, talk about what's happening in culture and doing it well. Like, we've had Latin records. We've done a whole Sinvergüenza project.
That was,
and I'm proud of those. And I think that De Camino was just a different level of like, nah, this is like, it just felt like a fresh perspective on Latin music that was like, it had the drill, had the Jersey in there.
Yeah.
Alexander killed that. Like I felt like it was just an evolved expression of like Christian artists in the Latin space doing something different. So it was hard. Was there anything else that stood out to you? Any other things that you felt like, was like some of your favorites? Or
I really liked Low Key.
Low Key
was a really good. I don't know if it really hit.
Just shout out DJ Mike LV. You know what I'm saying? That was a really good. What else? I mean, I thought there was a couple joints. I mean, again, it was such a smaller playlist.
Yeah,
you know what?
Flip That killed it too.
Flip That is one of my favorite records on the playlist.
Yeah. Why?
I just feel like sometimes the favorites don't be like the biggest streamers.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can play that song. Like it just has like the quality, artistic ingredients of like, yo, this is like melodic. I feel like that song could like play on like some mainstream playlist. You know what I'm saying? It's really good. But yeah, if probably sometimes our fans gravitate towards the more safer, familiar sonics.
Okay.
So if a song is really dope and a little bit progressive and innovative, I feel like sometimes it's just kind of a slow burn. But over time, that jump may catch fire and go viral. You know what I'm saying?
Describe what it feels like looking back at all these playlists and seeing how they've aged, how they've kicked off some careers, like just looking at all what us having to dive into everything. How do you feel looking into like seeing what you created, what Reach has created, the artists in the space, the whole nine? Yeah,
thank you, Amia, and thank you for clarifying. Because it was really a whole team effort. It feels great to know that we created something that can be a one-stop shop to showcase and broadcast what's going on in Christian hip hop culture. Mm-hmm. So if you have, sometimes for people that are like newer to our space and people that are trying to find Christian hip hop, I'll send them these playlists to be like, yo, get a good like sampler.
Yeah.
This is a good indication of what's happening on the culture. You're gonna get emerging artists, staple artists, different sonics, different expressions. So I think that has been really cool to create something that can be like a menu item for people that are trying to discover Christian hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Also, I feel like it's been a breaking ground moment, putting artists on different platforms. I feel like I can name a few artists that I feel like their careers, I'm not taking credit for their success. I'm saying these touch points help their careers, and we can't sign every artist. Mm-hmm. We don't want to sign every artist. What we want to do is amplify and help artists that we feel like are dope, that are carrying the banner of Christ. How can we use our platform to give those artists space to evolve? I feel like Tory Deshawn's playlist moments helped to create moments of discovery for his artistry. I feel like Big Breeze's playlist. I mean, I even had there's this bigger producer that's like got a lot of big platinum records. Like he works in the hip hop mainstream. He found Breeze through some playlists randomly, and then he found Breeze, started sending beats to Breeze. Then he found Hovey, and he has a few tracks on Hovey's upcoming album. So it was like that playlist, which I don't even know how he found it, but that song gave him a moment of discovery and like, yo, these Christians out here making these slaps like that. I want to tap in. I want to do more work for the kingdom. So that's the beauty of these playlists. It's like, creating those kind of moments. So
yeah, those moments are so important. And like I was saying earlier, it's just so it's great that everyone here, of course, being so mindful of just creating don't get me wrong. You could, of course, create albums for everyone who's here. Like that's the obligation, but being able to not even just, put other artists on, put the fan base on, but just being able to create moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's just one of the big things is that we can look years down the line and be like, oh, you remember Summer 19 or you remember Summer 21? Like we can look down the line and see these music moments, not just songs, but moments that really, which really speak into the culture, but we're also staples in the culture as well, man. Listen, I love this episode. Shout out to everyone that's been able to tap in and rock with the playlist. Let us know what your favorite songs are as well. And there's a lot of other things exciting coming out of Reach. So listen, it's not happening the way you want, but listen, it's so worth it. If we saw all these things, these playlists and things that happen, those things were worth it. More things that are on the way are gonna be worth it as well. So shout out to everyone that's tuned into this week. Shout out to Ace for being the producer, A&R host extraordinaire as always. And shout out to Matt for holding us down. It's the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM. We'll see you guys next week.
See y'all.